Hi everyone, this is Soul17 here, and let me get through this like usual. I do not own this picture, and this is not a paid video, okay? Alright. This is gonna be an Asta what if. This is basically, what if Asta was the son of Hades? So he's gonna be a demigod, basically. And I'm not gonna spoil much, but of what I'm gonna have planned because of someone suggested this idea, and someone else wanted more Asta what ifs, so it took me. I was trying to think of some, and someone suggested this to me, and I said, actually, that sounds pretty good. So, I mean, what I was coming up with was like, Death from Darksiders was Asta was the reincarnation from Death. Of Death from Darksiders. I mean, that could have been a good one too. So, I was like kind of just thinking that in my head and all that, but yeah, I am not doing the Carnage or Venom what ifs for like Deku and Naruto. Naruto is the Venom, Carnage is the Deku one, and I have a feeling I would not do the characters very well, with them because of the way I will make them. Well, I'll make Deku like he's broken on the inside, and what was like made him when the like snap and our personality took over, and yeah, that would not have made any sense whatsoever. So yeah, I decided to scrap those ideas. But if you guys want to hear those, then yeah, just leave a comment on that. But anyways, that's what I was saying about this. There's gonna be a thing about Asta's mother, who is Hades' basically wife. So he actually cares about his son, and it's gonna be like a very bumpy road probably from here. I know about the stories of Hades. Like how. Well, I know there's some stories of Hades basically. And I'm gonna kind of put some into it, and this is how it's basically gonna start. Like after Hades was left by the woman he loved, she left him because not because of anything he'd done. He didn't do nothing badly. It was because of a reason, and that reason was his life was gonna be taken away if she did not come back home on Mount Olympus and all that. So she basically left him to protect him, and he didn't know about it. So he was heartbroken, and he met a human. He went to basically the mortal realm, and he was like in the Spade Kingdom. Yeah, the Spade Kingdom, and basically he met a woman there. They chatted. Most people feared him but didn't do nothing about it. They found love and they had a kid. He told her everything about him. He did not lie about who he was. And she was shocked to even find out he was the god, and the god of the underworld, Hades himself. Which he kind of looks like this, but just pretends like modern clothing. So yeah, this isn't his god form, and yeah. So if you know who was like the woman he loved before he met Asta's mother in this, then yeah. And they had a child. He told Zeus. Zeus was thrilled actually, and I mean, he did have like children over the years, and every single time, Zeus was always surprised that they were just kind souls. And Hades says, "I may be the god of the underworld, but I am not a monster. Neither are my children," which is surprisingly right to your wife. As Zeus kind of says, yes, she has hated them, but it's well, yeah. So Anyways, let's get into this video. Alright? Okay. This is what if Asta was the son of Hades. Part 1. Alright? So, we're going to Hades. Hades is rushing over to the sound of a woman screaming, which he knows very well. It's the sound of his wife. He rushed over there. He didn't care about what anyone saw him using his godly powers or speed or anything. He just rushed over there. He basically got over. He got over there to his wife, and he did not see anyone else besides their child. He came there and he grabs her and holds her. And he's saying, I don't know Asta's mother's name, but he's saying, "My love, please, stay with me. You cannot die yet." And she just, even though he's the god of the underworld, he doesn't want her to die. So, she says, "It's too late for me. Please, protect our son." As he goes, "I'll bring him back. I'm the god of death. I can't." And she goes, "My soul won't go to the underworld." He goes, "Why?" As he sees a mark on her. He goes, and he knows that mark. He learned the customs of, the Spade Kingdom and how they have demonic contracts with demons from other realm. As basically, this is a mark to turn her soul into a demon by losing all her memories. And she says, "I'm so sorry. I can't leave him alone." And Hades is saying, "No, please don't leave me. I can't leave you. I can't lose you." Basically, yeah, he's basically he's just really crying now. And she just says, "Just remember, protect our son no matter what. He has to get away from here. Give him life away from this horror, away from this hatred. And give him your blessing, your guidance." I know I'm my parents, but yeah. So, as that happens, as she fades away, Hades just starts screaming in pain and agony for losing the person he cared so much for. The woman of his child, he lost, and his power, his magic, his godly essence just screaming out throughout the world as the earth itself starts shaking, a fury that neither god or devil has ever faced. And Julius and the Clover King sense this. The Clover King is with Julius, and he says, "Julius, we must go to Lord Hades right away." As basically he nods as they teleport over to him to feel. Just to feel a whole amount of anger and rage and the sadness just emitted from him. And the ground itself starts cracking and breaking apart as Julius says, "Lord Hades, please stop!" As he looks to them, and he just says, "I wasn't strong enough to save her." Save her and all that, as they see the woman he's holding in his arms, and then a child that's nearby. Julius and the Clover King walk over to him. The Julius is still young, so is the Clover King. They're in their mid-20s. I think Julius is 35, and the Wizard King's 40 something. I don't know. Let's just say they're in the mid-20s. So, yeah. As basically they ask, "Was this the wife you were talking about?" He nods his head. And basically the Wizard King says, "This is the border to the Clover Kingdom, the Heart Kingdom, and the Diamond Kingdom, the dark area. But you are near the border of the Clover Kingdom. Or actually, I should say you actually are in it." As he points to the child, as Hades just says, "Can you please have his life spared and saved?" As they ask about her, Hades just says, "I'll bury her near our home." Our home. But, he gets up holding her, and then he tells them, he just looks at them, he says, "No one is safe from my wrath but the Clover Kingdom. Remember this. If you need my aid or my protection, I will come to you. No questions asked." Oh. And camp, the Black Bulls. How many demigods are there at the current moment? As Julie says, well, right now, there are about 50 of them. But counting your son will be a part of them. I'll say in the near future, many of them will become successful magic knights and such. And, service to basically anywhere around the world that we need to go to, which we have permission from Zeus. He says your son could be the 106th person that will be there. As he says, get his quarters ready. As basically, this technically is the weapon of Hades, the scythe. In there, as he also says, get the area ready for him. Because when he gets there, I already have a feeling my son will be very, very hard working. And I just want to point something out. The Black Bulls, I am doing like a Percy Jackson thing with Camp Half-Blood. Someone who, suggested this what if also mentioned that, and yeah, I like that. So I'm making the Black Bulls like the Camp Half-Blood because a whole bunch of misfits. It works. Because, no one else sees the potential in them besides the Black Bulls. Unknown to anyone else, including, anyone other than the Black Bulls captain, there are the demigods. All of the Black Bulls are demigods. So basically, yeah, I'm not gonna go specifics of who's gonna be who. That means Noelle is a demigod too. And that means even though her whole entire family, her father will be a demigod, Poseidon. Noelle is a demigod too, but he didn't go into the Black Bulls. He became the Silver Eagles captain all on his own. But he wants Noelle to go to the Black Bulls, so he basically tell her, and no demons can put a curse on their mother. So because of Poseidon's protection, so basically her mom's gonna be alive in this. She's gonna be way more powerful than in canon, because positivity from her family. All right, okay, just want to say that real quick, but yeah. So as the Wizard King as Julius and the Clover King says, you have our word. We will protect him. We will not let anything happen to him. And thank you for your, divine grace, Lord Hades. As they basically just bow to him, as he says, on your knees. As they get up immediately, he says, I do not want you to bow to me. I do not need no bow besides a thank you. Or the handshake. Only in turn, I would just ask you to protect him. Oh, he may, and my wife's soul will not be going to the underworld. As they are in shot, he goes, basically the Clover King sees the mark, and he knows that. He goes, she made her soul, and he nods. As soon as he said that, the Wizard, Julius puts his head down, even the Wizard King, and they said, and they don't understand, why would you do this? As he says, because if you're wondering, because the reason is she wanted to protect our son, and she may have wanted revenge. I do not know, but whoever took my wife's life will pay dearly. As he fades into the darkness, as Julius and in the Clover King, just go to Asta as they pick him up and bring him to the church. As Julius and the Clover King, after that, go back over to the Clover Kingdom, and they assign somebody to watch over Asta as a certain age. So we're doing a skip to about we're skipping over to 7-year-old. 7-year-old Asta. He is with, and the church as he reads mostly books and he keeps to himself. He's not allowed, he does work out, but his magic is very weird. He has 3 different types. The only ones he can use now are fire magic and shadow magic. The necromagic is going to come later. The necromancy magic is going to come later when he's having his grimoire. And don't ask about the 5-leaf clover, because it's coming into the suit. This part 1. All right. Okay. So, the father of the church, comes over to Asta and asks him, Asta, is everything all right? He goes, it's quite all right, Father. I just began weird looks from the people of this village. It's quite different. I mean, I'm always nice, but they fear me for some reason. It's alright, though. I understand. As the father is not afraid of him, or fears him. People do, but they know him. They try their hardest. He's telling him that they try their hardest to be kind to him. He always helped out in the fields. He always helped them out with any problems. It's just... he has a feeling it's much more. It's a unknown aura about me, he says. It reeks of death. I see the look of fear in their eyes. It's like they see death around me. I can kill them instantly. I'm sorry, Father, for that laugh. It's quite funny because I like to help people. I like to keep them safe. I don't like to scare no one, and it hurts me that they're afraid of me, even though I tried my hardest. As the father says, I know. But we're your family. As he nods. And this is where they have, Sister Lily? Yeah. Sister Lily comes in. They found, the Wizard King and the Clover King, found somebody to go to the church, and they explained the situation to, about Asta, because she was a part of, she basically is one of those people who knows about the gods, Olympus and all that, as, they tell her of, this is Hades' son, Asta. He's a part of Hodge Village that we need you to go to, since there has been a request for one, for, someone to be there, to help out with the children and the church in general, as she basically understands, someone, the father of that church, of Hodge Village, introduces Sister Lily to him, to Asta. Asta just greets her and says, it's a pleasure to meet you, Sister Lily. My name is Asta. And I'm very, and it is a big help to the father to have you here. As she's saying thank you to him. As, Yuna meets her and all the kids that, could, as basically the priest the father introduced her to everyone. So, yeah. So, that we're giving another time skip over to, in the, is gonna get that fateful day where the guy is gonna, try to, take his, his pendant as Asta's there. He walks calmly instead of running, as shadows start to form around the drunk man, as basically he uses his shadow to bind him. As then he walks over to him and he says, "Thank you for the pendants, kind sir," as he gives it to As then he says, to him says, "You should really quit drinking. You don't ever want to get into a situation where your life could be forfeit, now do you?" And he has a smile, as the guy's kind of terrified of this kid. Like, he does not show any fear of him or anyone or any matter of himself, because this guy is the same guy, but he has a grimoire that's like a 3-leaf, and he's just thinking, what's wrong with this kid? And he's wondering why he's so afraid. Everything like a chill went down his body, and this feeling of death is in the air when he approached him. As then Asta says, "Now," as he basically lights fire in his hand, he says, "Now you will listen closely. You will stop your drinking. You will stop wanting to take money just so you can get another drink, and you will proceed to be a better person. Understand me?" As he nods his head, he goes, "Good." As then he releases his shadow magic, but still has the fire magic in his hand. As he then tells him, "Now be off with you, and be a good man, and don't hurt anyone else. Don't want to hurt any more children." So yeah. So that happens. Now he runs away, and says, "Wow, Asta, that's so amazing." And he just says, "It was child's play." And so, he talks about how he wants to help out this village and to get stronger, even protect everyone else. He wants to become the Wizard King, as is very surprised by this. He never thought Asta would want to become the Wizard King. And he just says to him, "I did work out here and there a few in my life." And then says, "But wait, you're already naturally strong." He goes, "I know, but still, just because I'm naturally strong does not mean I do not need to work on my physical abilities. Understand me?" As he nods, and he goes, "All right, let's get back. Let's deliver the letter and get back to, the church." As they do. And Sister Lear thanks Asta for helping out He says, "It was my pleasure. My best friend needed my help. I wasn't going to let anyone harm him." So, after that happened, we're skipping years later. Hodge Village has stopped being afraid of Asta, has stopped treating him horrible, giving the looks, don't accept him to help sometimes. They have officially, come to greet Asta, basically be kind to him. He earned their trust, but there is still fear in them. But he has his, they have his trust completely. They do not care what. As everyone knows about the gods of Olympus and the stories of old, about them. So, yeah, no one knows though he's the son of Hades. Basically a demigod. But I did want to check something out real quick. Alright. Yeah, back on. Yep, I was right. I said necromancy, but I meant death magic, since it's a sub-element, so he could be able to do it. So yeah, my apologies for that. But yeah. So they're 14. They're 14 years old, and they have to, be ready for the grimoire ceremony. To get their grimoires, as the whole entire village is cheering on for and Asta, especially the church. The father, the sister Lily, the children of the church are both cheering for him. For both of them, as the father says, "I hope you both get your grimoires, and I hope that you're able to get your powers are really. I hope you both become magic knights." Also, as Asta says, "Father, it's not that easy. We have to both train hard for 10 months to get even stronger." As just states, because he's a lot different. He's a lot more talkative to Asta. He says, "Asta, you're a lot stronger than me, but you're my rival, so I won't be beaten by you." As he just looks at and says, "I'm glad I'm glad we're friends and rivals. But, to be honest, it doesn't matter. As, Asta is going with, to the library where he gets the grimoires in the original, in canon. Somebody is watching them from above. It's Zeus. Zeus and his wife, and Persephone, as Hades has been up there with them since the day Asta's mother died. He has gone down to the underworld to do his job, to be the guardian of the underworld, to have the souls be going to where they need to go. But he has also been coming up to watch Asta, because it's the only place where he could is Mount Olympus, as Zeus understands. Zeus has keeping an eye on Asta, has basically, when Asta's birthday comes, he has gifts sent out to him. He has basically given Asta gifts from different from the Clover Kingdom, from basically the Spade Kingdom, not the Spade Kingdom, the Heart Kingdom and the Diamond Kingdom. Asta, basically what he got from the Heart Kingdom was basically plants that made magical herbs that could help out with any almost any sickness, so fevers and all that. Fevers, coughs, and just helping someone with an upset stomach. As also grew these and helped out the villagers with them with the herbs. He gave them to the doctor, as he paid him and he used it, and he figured out that these herbs that Asta has and grown are very helpful, as he basically asked Asta if he could ever spare some, as he sees from the back of the church they have a whole lot of it. So, and Asta's been plowing it, been doing the field himself, which he says he can give him half of it, and the other half is for us. As he agrees. From the Diamond Kingdom, he has gone in some, let's just say, some books and theories and stories, plus also a bracelet. These are over the years they have piled on. And from the Clover Kingdom, he's gotten ancient scrolls from the first Wizard King, as he read them. And he was very impressed by the technology that they were trying to make with items to help out commoners. He was just shocked by this. He goes, I wonder why we don't have it now. But then Asta's not dumb in this, so he thinks because of the royals. He goes, they are greedy, but they do think they have a right to everything. Someone needs to put them in their place a little, but I am just a commoner. I do not deserve to think like this, but something compels me to. And Persephone was that wife. I know, from I think one story I heard of, Hades, Persephone was the woman he loved at first, but they were a couple and such. And Zeus's wife did not want that, so she was the reason why Persephone had to leave Hades. As Hades sees Asta along with Zeus, as he's smiling, and he says, "My boy grew up to be a fine man." As Zeus says, "Yes, he has," to Hades. But he does say, "Why don't you ever go see him?" He just says it's better off he does not know yet. I want him to find out on his own, his true identity. He'll find out he already knows about his godly strength, even though it's significantly hidden away. His grimoire will activate it soon. As Zeus says, yes, it will. He may even remember the day his mother died. As he does apologize for that right away. As Hades says, I haven't gone over her death, but it's been grateful for you to let me come here and watch my son. brother. And then Poseidon walks in. He says, have I missed my nephew? Like, coming in. Like, my nephew's, like, getting his grimoire yet? As he says no. And, he has talking to, Noel about it. Like, the whole entire, like, his family about it. Like, Nozel, his little brother and sister, and then Noel, they all know about Asta and Hades. They haven't met him. As, he says, good, I did not want to miss the look on everyone's face about our, our little nephew of ours to get a very powerful grimoire. As he says, yes. Also, Hades, do you know his magic? Hades just grins and says, well, I have fire, shadow, and death magic. What do you think he has? As their faces go into shock and then just start laughing. As they say, oh my god, those nobles are gonna wish they never mess with him. As then, that's what Zeus says. But then Poseidon says, hey, my wife is a noble, so are my children. And then Zeus says, yeah, just make sure your little daughter, Noel, doesn't fall in love with him. Because, yeah, as he thinks about it, he goes, who cares? He thinks, he says out loud, and then he goes like, if that boy ever tries to go to marry our daughter, I will end him. And that's overprotective father mode right there. As Hades just says, would that be wrong since they're technically cousins? And Zeus says, yes, but it was supposed to be a joke. Don't. And I knew Poseidon doesn't like that. So, he doesn't like those type of jokes. And he goes, and yeah, Poseidon basically just punches Zeus in the face. As he just says, ouch. And he says, never joke around with me about my family. Especially my little daughter, Noel. As they all, like, Hades laugh. And says, I do miss us, spending time together as family. As then, they both smile. So, we go over to where Persephone and her mother, Zeus's wife is, as, they're like across seeing seeing, all three of them talk, as Zeus's wife just can't believe Zeus keeps allowing him to come in here. And Persephone has even never talked to him for these past 14 years. She has watched Asta, but she can't believe it. Like, this is him, his son, and yet he has like the same features as him, but also different. And he has such a kind heart, which is like he has never gotten angry at anyone. He understands. He does not feel any hatred towards no one, which that kind of makes Zeus's Zeus's wife upset a little, because she thought this boy was gonna become a demon, just like him. Like, because God of the Underworld, bad temper. He does have a bad temper, Hades, but because he had a wife and a child, and they did fight only like 3 times in their life while they were together. They did not. They only fought 3 times in their lives, so that was a good relationship. So yeah. But anyways, after all that, we're going back to Asta, and basically, when they're at the library where they got, imagine where they got their grimoires from. I call it a library. But yeah. So the man comes out, and he gives out his speech, and then says the grimoires will, as he basically, puts his staff down to the ground, the grimoires start flowing out to everyone. As, all of them, everyone's getting the grimoire, besides, and Asta. So it's like people are still getting them. Then all of a sudden, gets his grimoire, a 4-leaf, which these 2 royals, who are the same ones in canon, are getting upset. As then Asta's waiting for a few minutes, as everyone starts laughing, then all of a sudden, a bright light of basically red, black, and purple light is like going throughout the whole entire room, as it basically comes down from the heavens, come and like stops right in front of Asta. There's fire on one side, purple on another side, and black on another on going up, and it is a 4-leaf grimoire. As everyone's seen this, as everyone, including is shocked by. Well, is not really shocked. He's more amazed. As then when Asta grabs it, all of a sudden, fire, shadow, even death magic comes off of the grimoire. As everyone feels this magical pressure, it's skyrocketing. It's not stopping, and everyone's in awe about it, and fear. Besides, But then all of a sudden, Hades and Asta hear something, a voice. Even though Hades is all the way in on Mount Olympus, in the realm of the gods, basically, he hears the voice. As everyone starts hearing a slamming of a book. As, like, the slamming in a wall, as then all of a sudden something comes out of it. And it lands right in front of Asta. As Asta's getting a flashback of a memory of someone's voice, as it sounds somewhat similar to it, as he doesn't know it, but Hades can hear the voice fully, as he says, "That's her." As Poseidon and Zeus going like, "Huh? We can't hear nothing." He goes, "That's my wife. My wife. She's in the book. She's a demon now." As Hades does drop to his knees, but he's crying with a smile on his face because he's happy that even though she is a demon, the mark may have got all of her memories erased, that there might have been one memory that she can never get rid of. Their son. As, basically as he's like crying, saying she's still alive, so I thought, as Zeus and Hades, not Hades, Zeus and Poseidon gets him up, and they say, "You must go now. You must, try to talk to her, see if she remembers you at all." Poseidon says, as Zeus says, "Yes," as Hades says, "No, not yet. It's not time yet." Because he's scared to meet his son. The god of the underworld is scared to meet his own son, who he has not seen in 14 years. But let's go back to Asta, as Asta's hearing a voice saying, "My son," but in a demonic voice, saying, "My son, you grew up so big." As it says, "My little Asta," as he whispers to himself, "Mother." So when he grabs the grimoire, all of a sudden anti-magic is spreading throughout the room. They can just feel something off about it. Even more, but even lesser than what they felt earlier. This anti-magic will not consume his magic at all. Because this is god magic. It's different from any magic, of the demons. Anti-magic can get rid of normal magic, but not god magic, which Asta has. All his magic is godly magic. It's god form. So it's a lot more than royals. So yeah. So Asta grabs the 5-leaf grimoire, and he just starts smiling. He goes, "So, I'm the son of a demon." As he's saying this to himself in his head. Even though the only memories that Asta's mother has is her son and Hades, and remembers that he's a god, the god of the underworld. As she's like, he can hear her voice, he can see the anti-magic demon form, but in like human like one. As he sees the way she looks and all that, as she nods her head no. as he, gives a curious look as he, hears her talking. Only he can. You see her or hear her as she says, "You are the son of the god of the underworld, Hades, a demigod. You're not the son of a demon. I was human once." As his eyes widen, and everyone is in shock, including the guy who gives up the grimoire, saying to himself, "How did he get two?" And Yuno's even shocked as Asta just holds both of the grimoires. He just says to everyone, "What? You shocked that I have two? Maybe my magic power just can handle two grimoires. That's how much it needs, too." But he knows the truth. This magic does not. He already knows about the anti-magic. His mom just explained to him after he grabbed it that this magic can dispel other magic, and she cannot accept any other magic besides his or any other demigod's magic because of their half god. Even though they're still half human, their magic is all god-like. So, yeah. Give me a minute, guys. I need to go get a drink. Terribly sorry about that, everyone. My throat felt like it was dry and I was not able to speak right. So, yeah, okay. So, he knows about it, and he walks out as quickly as he could. The nobles can't do nothing to Asta because, actually, no, nobles hate him more than So they, gonna follow him as he gets out, and he's just thinking to himself, "I am a demigod, the son of Hades, the underworld. What? How?" As he wants to ask his mom something, but she just nods her head. She saw the look that he says, I got so many questions, that she nods her head, says, "Not now." As, she looks, did rush out with those two, the same guys, as they're, are about to attack Asta. Is about to do something. So Asta basically just opens up his grimoire, his four-leaf, as he says, as he just basically, when he opens it up, he sees the page. It's fire. There's there's basically three sections. Fire, which has red pages. Black pages with, for shadow magic, and purple pages for death magic. As he, opens up a fire page. As this book is thick. I'm not gonna say it's big, but pretend it's like a dictionary. And it's that big and heavy, and so many pages. So yeah, as basically he opens up to the first page of the fire magic, and it's a fire wall. When they use, I forget what their magic was. So let's say water magic and earth magic. Excuse me again. Is basically when they say it, he activates his magic. He makes a firewall. And then all of a sudden he flips it over as he sees another magic spell. As he says three. No, give me a minute on that. Okay, I had to figure it out. I didn't really think of it. I just wanted to try this what if. So he basically says, three-head Cerberus. Fire magic. Three-head Cerberus. As basically, he creates a big giant dog, well, a fire, which is Cerberus. His three heads. As this is the Cerberus in the background. So, yeah. He basically summons it. Makes a fire version of it. As they throw fireballs, and they are defeated easily, which shocked and all of a sudden, and Asta are trapped by chains, which is a chain mage. As he comes up and laughs, he goes, "You two are so easy to, take down." As he notices two four-leaf grimoires, but he basically laughs, says, "Oh, two grimoires for the price of one, huh?" And then he sees the five-leaf grimoire, but he can't tell if it is. And he says, "Ugh, you can keep that one, kid. I'll take your four-leaf, along with your friend." And then all of a sudden, Asta tries to use his magic, as the guy says, the chainmate says, "You can't use your magic." As basically, what it's showing is a yellow form, as he doesn't know what it is. Asta, though, book opens up as he says, "Death magic." Necromancy element. Necromancy. Death magic, necromancy. Skeleton. Yeah, skeletons. Skeleton army. He just says, as multiple skeletons are starting to come out of the ground out of nowhere, as Yuno is shocked by this. Asta doesn't know why. He just knows. He's reading it as Yuno is thinking to himself, "What is Asta exactly?" As then he says, "Shadow magic, fire magic, armor." He has about maybe 2 to 3 pages of shadow magic and fire magic and death magic. Necromancy is one of them, and that has a few other spells too. More of them death magic than fire magic. So as armor of shadow and fire comes onto them, as they break the chains for Asta and Yuno. The guy didn't, the chain mage did not even get Yuno's grimoire, so Asta says, "Don't kill him. Make sure you just hurt him enough to knock him out." As the skeletons nod, as they, this is not like a big army. This is only probably 50. So 50 20 protecting him, another 20 protecting Yuno, and the other are going to fight the chain mage, as they basically beat him down, even throw him into the wall, as he's not even knocked out. But then the five-leaf grimoire opens up, as then the demon slayer sword comes out, as Asta grabs it. He just holds it up and he just starts walking over to him, to the chain mage, and he goes, You're a monster." He goes, "No, I'm not." As basically he just kind of smacks him with the sword on the flat side, as he just goes flying again, knocked out, which he did not kill him. Like I said, knocked out. As then he puts away the sword, he says to his army of skeletons, his 50 army of skeletons, saying, "Thank you for your services," and deactivates the spell, as they basically return to the holes that they came from. As the keeper of the library of grimoires comes out. He says he called the authorities, as they'll come and get him. As Asta and the library of the keeper of the grimoires basically asks Asta, "What was that?" And he says, "Death magic, necromancy, shadow magic, fire magic. 3 elements that I have, or 3 different types of magic." As they says, "We know that, but how?" He just says, "I was just born with it, I guess." As says, "Asta, you never showed the death magic, the shadow magic, yeah, including the fire magic, but never that. I'm not judging you, but it's kind of worrisome. Do you know anything about it?" He goes, "No. I do know something, but I don't believe I am." As they both ask him what, he says, before the magic knights aren't there yet, to take him away. As then he just says, "Even the nobles are gone, they ran away. the chain mage is knocked out. He won't get up until he gets into jail. So yeah, as he just tells them, I am the son of Hades, the god of the underworld. As both their eyes open, as then, he hears somebody coming up the steps. And Asta and the old man from the library, just he sees this person comes up with the scythe. As Asta sees him, he feels like he knows him from somewhere. As then he goes over to hug Asta. He says, "My son, you did well, protecting your friend." As Yuno's in shock, as Julius and the Wizard King. Now Julius and the King comes over. Even Zeus and Poseidon, come rushing over too. Because as he saw his son in danger, so he was rushing over right away. He was not gonna take this. As they all get over to it shocked. Basically, the keeper of the grimoire, something I call him, librarian, bows down to the Clover King. I mean, to the king of the Clover Kingdom, as says, "Sire, why are you?" As he says, "Don't bow. You shouldn't bow right in front of me, when you have gods, here." As Zeus says, "Hades." Even Poseidon, said that. No, Poseidon and Zeus says, "Hades, you shouldn't have." As they see the man knocked out, and Asta, as they said, "Oh, your son took care of it." Well, he is your son after all. You are pretty, you do know how to fight, and I guess he does too. As he says, you should have seen him. He summoned out his first, army of skeletons, basically. As they are saying, "Huh, he has your natural touch to this." As just snapped out. He goes, "Wait, son, Hades?" And then Asta says, "Father?" As he says, "I can explain everything when you go to Camp Half-Blood. Well, the Black Bulls, not Camp Half-Blood. Sorry. The own version of the Black Clover Camp Half-Blood is the Black Bulls. So, yeah, as he says, you'll go to the Black Bulls. You'll find out everything you need there." As he nods his head, he does say, though, "I am proud of you, though. So proud of you." As then he sees the anti-magic demon, which is his mother, hugging Asta, basically, as he smiles, and he hear her saying, "Hi, honey," as his eyes widen, as a tear is starting to go down his face, as he says, "Dad?" And then he snaps out and goes, "Huh? You're crying." And then Zeus and Hades, I mean, not Zeus, Zeus and Poseidon rush over and look at it and says, "Do you see something that we don't?" As he nods, he says, "I can see the souls of humans, remember? Any type of person, actually, it's any type of person that can die, so even demons." And though, Asta's mother's grimoire is, not grimoire, Asta's mother's soul is into, the grimoire and such, she was sealed, her soul is outside because she can't allow it. She wants to see her son, and now she sees her husband. She's happy, and those are the only memories she has: her son and her husband, Hades. As he says, "I cannot stay here long. I must go, but we will talk again soon. I promise you." As he leaves, with Zeus's bolt of lightning, and Asta and asks the two men who are there, "Who are you two?" As Julius says, "I am the current Wizard King, and this is the King of the Clover Kingdom, His Majesty." As Asta bows to them immediately, just natural response to it, just bowing to them because of their high status. He wants to give them what they deserve. As they says, "No, you should not be bound to us. We should be bound to you." As this shocks and the librarian. As Asta goes, "What?" He goes, "You are one of the three big gods. Like, if anyone should be the child of Poseidon, Zeus, or Hades, they immediately have greater power than all the gods. I mean, they immediately have greater power than anyone. Even just a lesser god, like a lower tier god, was still stronger than most humans. But you have magic untapped that can be used in so much more powerful spells. Basically, your power alone could shape the earth, like your father did many years ago. As he says, wait, really? Yes, actually. Well, that's because of his emotions. And when he's angry, his magical power rises. But yours, since you're half human, rises because your grimoire. You currently are you're past the normal levels of a demigod, of magical power, as the Clover King says. And yes, you will have to get into the Magic Knights exam, but in reality, you'll be joining the Black Bulls. Though that is where you're going to be learning to train your godly power and go on missions for the Clover Kingdom. But nevertheless, it is, a camp for demigods, such as yourself. As Julius says, like most, we do have other camps for demigods and other, in other kingdoms and places around the world. As Asta nods in understanding, as then Julius tells his side, the king, that we must get going, as they do. So, after after saying goodbye to everyone and ask them not to disclose any, what they have just seen or heard, do not tell anyone. It's top secret because not most people are supposed to know about gods. So yeah. So they leave, and the librarian just say to Asta, "Are you okay?" He goes, I don't know. It's a lot to take in. As says, it's understandable then. I've read about the gods. Although, like Zeus, Hades, and Poseidon, and others, but knowing that you are the son of one, it's quite terrifying. Asta says, no. Amazing. Asta, you're my rival. That means I'm gonna have to try even harder to beat you. I gotta train harder. In mind, body, and soul. As the librarian says, well, it doesn't matter to me. Because, one, you're a part of Hodge Village, and two, your magical power is great. I'm not gonna be afraid of somebody who has helped this village out in so many ways. More than once, you have saved this village from bandits alone with your magic. As he goes, how did you... As Yuna goes, what do you mean? As the old man says, I have kept an eye on Asta. I noticed times and time again that he has come back with back to the village with some wounds on him. That he has been using some of his own herbs to help treat. As Asta's face gets a little bit red, as Yuna goes, what did you do to Asta? As he says, I may or may not have taken on some bandits that have, when they were attacking the village and some people got hurt, I may have or may not have went over there, talked to them, got into a fight with them, proceeded to beat them, and had them be arrested by the Magic Knights, and may have never, got any credit, but let them take it. Because I did not want it at the time, because I was just a child. As says, so that's why when you always had bandages on you, you always said something silly that you hurt yourself while walking in the middle of the night. And he goes, yeah, sorry. As I go, alright, I'm not gonna hold anything against you since definitely you're God's son and all. But still, be careful, you're still half human now. Now that I know, I thought you were 100% human. But now you're a god, and now I know that you're a demigod. That's why it's enormous strength and everything else. But still, you gotta be careful. I don't want to lose you, Asta. as he nods and he's still always blushing because he's embarrassed. So yeah, they do still the fist bump as they made that promise to become Wizard King again. Still. So yeah, this is where I'm gonna end it off. It's gonna be like the 10 months of training and then the magic neck exam and everything else in the next video, if this video is well received. Alright, if I see one person wants like part 2, I'll make it. I don't know when I'm gonna make the next video of like I may make a Deku was like trained by Taskmaster. Alright, so I may do that, and that ship I already have an idea for it. It's it was given me my idea by another person who wrote in the comment section, but it's not gonna make it a harem. I'm gonna do something else with it. Alright, sorry to the person who made the comment, but I'm gonna try it this way. But if no one likes it and all, yeah. But anyways, I do hope everyone has a nice day, time, be safe, be safe and all that. So bye everyone.